You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the November 17th meeting for the Michigan City Port Authority Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Michigan City Port Authority Board of Directors meeting, November 17th. I call the meeting to order. I'm looking for approval or corrections of November 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Comments from the public?
You want us to do our presentation?
Yep. Well, I don't know.
I promise, I've got a lot to cover, but
4 minutes.
4 minutes. So yeah, if I hear a foot tap or the music cueing, I'll know it's my time to get off the stage. Well, good evening. My name is Scott Kingen. I'm the president of the sailing school here in Michigan City. With me, I've got a few of our other board members. If you guys can raise your hand, Shannon Lyons back in the corner, Lynn Duttlinger, who's our treasurer, Dale in the back, who's our vice president, and then Mike Cooper, who's our emeritus. So this is a group of people that I've got a lot of trust in, and as you're going to find out, we're doing a lot of really great work here. So I just want to start by saying thank you for allowing us to come speak with all of you tonight, and more importantly, thank you for your ongoing support of the sailing school here. As you're going to see in this presentation deck, we do a lot of really great things, but unfortunately we can't do it alone. So we have a lot of supporters wrapped around us that contribute in very meaningful ways, and we put the Port Authority at the top of that list. And you guys have always been really great supporters. This body here, Mary Ann, Tim, you've all been just wonderful to work with, and we appreciate all of your support. Tonight is really just about having a chance to get in front of you all, talk a little bit about what's going on at the sailing school. For those of you who have been paying attention a little bit, have probably noticed we've been through a lot of change over the last few years. Probably creates a lot of questions about what is the sailing school up to, what are they doing, how are they doing it. So we just want to talk a little bit about kind of level set, kind of what our program, our school looks like today, some of the initiatives that we have going on, and more importantly, how we kind of view ourselves fitting into sort of the broader community, and specifically the boating community and the Port Authority here. So that sounds okay. I'm just going to start with our mission statement for the school. Mission statements are just a very brief, quick way to describe what it is we do, and it also provides the framework for all the other things that we're going to talk about here tonight. So our mission, South Shore Sailing School's mission, is to provide people of all ages the opportunity to experience the sport of sailing in a safe, fun, and sustainable environment. So again, everything that we're going to be talking here tonight really is a function of this, and it really is that simple. There's some people that probably aren't quite as familiar with this here, so I thought we'd just start with some of the basic facts about the school. The South Shore Sailing School is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Obviously, we're located here in Michigan City, right around the corner. We utilize the pavilion for their classroom teaching that we do, and then obviously we store our boats mostly over there around the hoist area. We also have a large keel boat that's in a slip out here in the marina as well. We are run by an all-volunteer board of directors, and I'm going to say it's a working board because we all are very integrated into the day-to-day operations of the program. We don't have a manager, we don't have a director of the program, so this board is hands-on. Every single person takes a very integral part and role in the daily functions of the sailing school. We have a summer youth camp program as well as adult classes. We're going to talk a little more about both of those here in a couple of slides. And obviously, as we all can appreciate, we have the luxury of having our school and our sailing out here in the beautiful waters of Lake Michigan. A little bit about our history. We were originally founded by the Michigan City Yacht Club, and that's been several decades ago. And people at that time, part of the Yacht Club, saw a need to support and grow the sailing community here locally. So those folks banded together, put together some dollars, went out and bought some small little Optimus sailboats. We no longer have those, but for those of you familiar with what we do, you probably saw them in the rack that we have out here by the hoist. We've since replaced all those boats with more modern boats that are a little better sailing experience, and they're a little better in the waters than we sail up here. In 2018, the school spun off from the Yacht Club, creating a nonprofit organization called the South Shore Nautical Education Foundation. The primary purpose of that was to become a 501c3 to open the door to donations, grants, sponsorships, things that maybe they couldn't have done before. And as we're going to talk about here, that's a very integral part of how we fund our school as well. Also in 2018, we added adult classes for the first time ever to the school. So historically, it's only been a youth camp, so that's relatively new. And then in 2019, we realized that our name didn't really reflect who we were. So we got a doing business as name as South Shore Sailing School, which is now what you know us for and what we're branded as. On average, we teach about 250 students per year out here, just in a couple of months. A lot of people are surprised by that. This was a record year of enrollment for us. We actually sold out our entire program. We actually increased our class capacity too in youth camp and adults this year. So we were actually a little north of 250 total this year. So we've seen very explosive growth in the last few years, which is really great. A little more about youth camp. This is targeted ages 8 to 17. These are all experience levels. We have a lot of repeat customers. We have kids that come from sailing families who have some touch points with sailing. We have some that have no experience in sailing. So we have a pretty wide spectrum of abilities and skill sets. Classes run from June to August. Usually that's mid-June to mid-August, and that's purely a function of when schools get out in the spring and when they go back in the fall. So whereas dates are always a little bit fluid, but generally we're 2 months, mid-June to mid-August. We have 2 classes in each day. We have a morning class and an afternoon class. They're half days. Those run 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for 2 consecutive weeks. And then we have 4 total of those sessions, which fills up that two-month window between June and August. What the kids learn out there is a whole lot, and I'm not even going to be able to touch on everything that they learn in our program, but with everything that we do, we always start with safety first. Obviously, they learn the basic principles of sailing. What I think is really unique to our program is they learn self-reliance, teamwork, and critical thinking. And you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. When you're a kid who's 8, 9, 10 years old and you're out on a sailboat by yourself on Lake Michigan, whether or not you got support boats around you or not, that's a pretty big deal, right? So these kids are forced in those moments to learn these skills, and that makes sailing and what we do pretty unique. A few years ago, we introduced STEM education into our school too. For those of you that are familiar with STEM curriculum, that's kind of the marriage of science versus real-world application. Obviously, they learn love and respect to the environment, and I think we all have an interest in making sure the Lake Michigan continues to be a good water source. That's obviously drinking water for a whole lot of folks. We're also fortunate enough to be baked right in the middle of the Indiana Dunes, state parks, national parks, so environmental footprint is very important to us. We'll talk a little more about that here in a minute too. And then what I think is the most incredible and best part of what we do is these kids are learning leadership skills and really life lessons, right? So everything they do, our instructors in youth camp, are kids that actually go through our program. They actually work their way up once they become instructors. We have different levels. We have lieutenants, we have head instructors, and they have a pathway to advance within the program. But they're the ones actually teaching the class, both in the classroom and out on the water. So it really drives really great leadership skills and life lessons. I mean, you put a whole lot of kids together that are ages 8 to 17, you can just imagine all the myriad things that happen in the course of a day, right? Mm-hmm. And we also know kids that age are growing, they're learning about themselves, they're learning about the world. And so we create an environment where we know mistakes are going to happen, fails are going to happen. We utilize all those things and make them teaching moments. So the kids are actually learning so much more than just getting in a sailboat and learning how to go out on the water and sail, right?
Interesting.
Adults, we started this back in 2018. It's for obviously anybody 18 and over, all experience levels. What we are finding is that the vast majority of our students and adults have never stepped foot in a sailboat one time. It's a completely new experience for them. As we kind of evolve, we're also seeing some other trends that are interesting. So We're actually seeing people who start in big boats, who have big boats out here, who maybe didn't take sailing school lessons or start in small boats. They're actually coming back to the school to sharpen their skills as big boat sailors. The other dynamic that's really been interesting the last few years is a lot of the parents of the kids in youth camp are signing up for sailing lessons. Kids come home, talk about how much fun they're having, how great everything is. So youth camp has actually become a feeder for the adult program as well. What do our students learn? So we go June to September, so our season's just a little bit longer. We don't have to obviously schedule around opening and closing dates for school season, so we have a little more flexibility. We have 3 total classes for the year. Each runs 4 weeks, 1 night a week for 4 weeks, and it's usually a 2.5-hour class. We try to do this on Thursday nights. Folks learn, obviously, again, safety first, basic principles of sailing, rigging of carts, points of sailing maneuvering, right-of-way rules on the road, as well as weather awareness and planning. And that's a very integral part because, as we're going to talk about, a lot of these people that come through adult classes end up with boats in the marina here. So what we're doing is we're teaching them a lot about safety and good boat handling practices when they're out in the water, whether they're a sailboat or a powerboat. So just a little quick snapshot of the school. Our strengths really are strong word of mouth. We have a lot of repeat customers. We don't market and advertise a lot because, quite honestly, we don't have to, because we have more demand than we know what to do with, which is a great problem. And a lot of that is because of the people that come through the program speak so highly of it. We do strike a good balance of fun and education. We hear from our students that go to other programs or schools. Sometimes it's a little too racing-centric. Sometimes it's a little too campy. Kids aren't learning enough, so we think we've really struck a nice balance between education and fun. And we have a really great group of skilled instructors and adults. These are lifelong sailors. A lot of those folks have boats out here in the marina and sailing their whole life. Our kids come through the program. Our lead instructor and our lieutenants actually go and they get U.S. Sailing certified to actually teach. We actually hosted U.S. Sailing here in this room on the premises here 2 years ago. U.S. Sailing sent a representative in to actually run the 3-day in-person class. So our kids are actually getting certified. Again, that just kind of raises the bar in the skill sets of our teachers. Obviously, we're at a great location. We've got a really great board of directors who not only have good sailing experience, but a lot of people that have sat on other nonprofit boards. I think anybody who knows the nonprofit world knows it's a very different animal from either other public and private sector entities. So we're very fortunate to have that. This year, we put about 224 kids through youth camp and 30 through adults, so that gives you a feel for the 250-some students where that divide kind of happens. Our staff, our board of directors, we have 7 currently. We have 7 youth camp instructors, 7 counselor in training. Those are kids that are coming out of the program that eventually want to be instructors. 8 adult class instructors and 1 administrator who kind of oversees day-to-day things at the youth camp. In this group of people, the only paid people here are our administrator and our 7 youth camp instructors. Our board does not get paid. Our adult instructors do not get paid. Our CITs do not get paid. And quite honestly, that's purely a function of we don't have the money to do it. So we have to make business decisions around what we do. We're very fortunate to have a lot of volunteers who step forward. Again, that really is an integral part of what makes our program so great. In terms of our fleet of boats, we have 17 sailboats. We have 1 keel boat that sits in the slip out here on the Fort Hubbard dock. The other 16 boats, sailboats, are completely new to the program within the last 4 or 5 years. We completely flipped our fleet over. We have 3 new safety boats as well. The great thing about those boats is they are very environmentally friendly. They are actually made out of, they're rotomolded hulls made out of recyclable materials. They have environmentally friendly bioresins in them. A lot of the things that makes fiberglass boat building not quite so environmentally friendly, not so true with these boats. The other great thing about these boats is because those rotomolded hulls, those kids can run into other boats, they can run into the seawall, the rocks. It's not going to puncture the hull, it's not going to damage anything. So they have really great long-term viability, and they wear very well. I'm going to go into a few slides here and just talk about that's a little bit about our program. It also starts to talk about how we fit into the local community, both Michigan City area and the Port Authority and the local boating community. One thing I want to talk about is community partnerships, because this is a big, big change for us in the last couple of years. And I'm going to start with the Michigan City area schools. So 3 years ago in 2023, we started, we have a dedicated class specific to MCAS students, grade school and middle school level, right? This is very targeted to get on the water opportunities for underserved local youth. Okay, this was a very, very important thing for us to endeavor. We wanted to connect more with the local community, get kids that don't have experiences out here. These are kids that are lucky if they make it to the beach, let alone ever out on a boat on Lake Michigan. What's really cool about this program is it really reduces and almost eliminates the financial logistical barriers that sometimes come with sailing or boating in general. The great news is there's no cost to the students. Unfortunately, that means it comes at a cost to other people, so we subsidize that partially on our end. We give a very steep discount on our enrollment rates to a point where we actually lose money on it, but that's a business decision we made because we felt like this partnership was really important. The school actually goes out and secures Title IV dollars to help cover a portion of the enrollment fee, and they also bus the kids back and forth to the school every day. So it's almost like a regular school day, and they provide them meals as well. So this really points to what I think is so cool. This is how nonprofits engage with their community. A really great case about what we can do. Again, this is not easy for us. We have to subsidize it. It requires more resources on our end, but we really, really like the fact that we're getting more local kids in our program out on the water. Another partnership we're just cutting our teeth was with the Sea Scouts. So we just started that this year. We had a few of the kids actually in the program, so they got the on-water experience. We're going to be looking at expanding that partnership going forward to get them some more hands-on technical skill development. So next year we're talking about having them assist with boat rigging and repair maintenance issues that can help them get their merit badges, right? And the other thing too is it kind of helps fulfill their mission with leadership, teamwork, and stewardship in sailing and boating. So another pretty cool relationship that we're just starting that we're excited about. Let's talk about community support. Again, we can't do this alone, right? We just talked about the fact that we have a lot of unpaid volunteers that help us with the program. Enrollment fees, unfortunately, only sustain kind of our day-to-day operational expenses. It goes towards subsidizing that partnership we have with MCAS. And we also offer some needs-based scholarships. Those all come at our expense. Unfortunately, when it comes to buying new boats, putting in docks like we did this year, any infrastructure related, we simply don't have the money to do that. So what we found when this group came into their positions, we really felt there was a need to really improve our program over time. We knew there was a lot of capital improvements. Those capital improvements are almost exclusively funded through grants, donations, and business sponsorships, right? And again, those things go towards sailboats, new coach boats, safety equipment, docks, security cameras, tables, and a whole lot of other things that we simply couldn't afford to do on our own. So when you see all these wonderful things happening over here, it's not because all of a sudden sailing school's flush with cash. Actually, it's kind of the opposite because we've actually doubled down on making sure that we offer some of these programs to kids. It comes at an expense to us. So we're extremely fortunate to have a lot of supporters around us. And just to give you a little bit of an example, this is just a few of our biggest supporters. Unity Foundation is a big one. They really stepped forward in some meaningful ways the last couple of years. The Michigan City Fire Department, where we do our CPR first aid training with our kids every year. That's a mandate. We do that every single year. Cleveland Cliffs is new to the equation, so the Cleveland Cliffs Foundation actually supported our dock investment infrastructure project that we did this year. Obviously the Port Authority, you guys assist us in a whole lot of ways, and I could go down the list, but it's a long list and my memory's a little short, so again, thank you for your support. MCCEC, and I'm going to trip over this name, I swear, but it's the Michigan City Community Education Corporation. Did I get that right, Dale?
Yeah.
All right. They're tethered, as maybe some of you know or don't know, I'm not sure, but they're tethered to the casino. A portion of those revenues go to MCCEC, and those dollars get deployed to nonprofits in the Michigan City area. So we started tapping into some of those resources a couple of years ago. That's been a very big part of what we've done. CLH, CPAs and consultants, another big supporter. B&E Marine, the Pond Foundation, Midwest Metal Products, Grow Farms Beef, and then the Michigan City Cruiser Class, which is the group out here that have big boats in the marina. Those folks help on our final day of youth camp for each session. We have a cookout, and the big boats all come over, take the kids out for the day, which is a really neat program. That's all that group of people, and a few of the instructors who help us come out of that group as well. Lots of other people in the mix here, but these are kind of the core key ones that I would like to mention. To talk about a little bit about the community aspect of what we're doing. Again, this was a really important thing for us to get more embedded and integrated with the community here locally. Just need to remember, we have, our client base is actually very spread out. You dropped a pin right here, you draw a radius about 150 miles from this location. That's where our students and sometimes our instructors come from too, right? So we cover a very, very wide area. Sometimes it's people in Chicago who maybe have summer homes over here, people who just don't have access to sailing schools close by. Occasionally we get people from as far as Indianapolis, right? So we do draw from a pretty big area. But in terms of the community impact here, obviously we're expanding access to sailing and boating for youth and adults, including underserved kids here locally. We're building skills and confidence across all ages, from new sailors to experienced boaters. We're really strengthening Michigan City's waterfront culture, having another community program. We're promoting safe boating practices that benefit the broader boating community. We're enhancing environmental awareness and stewardship of Lake Michigan. We're drawing, again, participants from around the region, again, 150 miles away in some cases. So we do draw from a large area. That in turn creates some economic activity here locally. When people come, they got to stay somewhere, they got to go out for food. So we see some benefit there. And probably importantly to this group, it's also that we're actually converting people, especially adults who go through our program, end up buying big boats and end up out here in the marina as well. So, and we do see that. I'd say we're probably putting 1, 2, 3 people per year in boats that end up out here in the marina. I'm going to go to the next slide. So in terms of the Port Authority, I think one of the big questions, why should you care about what we do, right? Why should you support us? Why should you care about what we do? Well, there's a very direct, tangible impact on on Port Authority and the boating community here in the marina. Obviously, again, we're attracting new boaters to the area, and sometimes these aren't people just local. Sometimes they're coming from all these other areas. They don't have marinas like we have here. So when they get exposed to the sailing class here, they buy a big boat. A lot of those people end up here. And you guys probably know this as well. You probably see your client base. You probably know that there's some owners that live in Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, South Bend, other places that keep their boats here in the marina. Just increasing the public use and visibility for the Port Authority facilities, and that's partially through classes, events like we hosted with U.S. Sailing here, but also media too. And if anybody hasn't seen the PBS Friends and Neighbors episode, they came out here and did an expose on our sailing program a couple of years ago. That video is actually on our website, southshoresailingschool.org. I would encourage you to check it out, but we're drawing a lot of attention like that. That's good for everybody. I think it also helps, you all, kind of create these partnerships with schools and organizations that, depend on the Port Authority's relevance. And then, I know part of your mission here too, is to, support the safety and well-being of Michigan City's boating community. So we feel like we're just a natural extension of that. And then the last item here, and it's what's really important to us, is we want to be a good neighbor and a good partner back, right? And this is an area where, we use the pavilion a lot during the day, but we know there's a lot of other people that do that as well. You've got the yacht club, the coho club, you've got fishermen that come in there, people that maybe shouldn't be in there but are in there. It gets a little messy under there, so we try to be good stewards at carrying and cleaning up under the pavilion, taking care of things, fixing things when they break. We do a lot of that kind of work. The last year or two, things like we put security cameras in the pavilion, around that whole space out there. That protects all of us that are working around that area, including the Port Authority. And also docks, right? So the dock project that we did this year, well, that wasn't just about the sailing school. We had a whole lot of other boaters tying up their boats out there at the dock. So we're trying to do things incrementally that benefit not just the school, but the Port Authority and the boating community as a whole. And I think we're going to try to do more of that over time as money permits, obviously. So the bottom line here is I think we are actually very well aligned with the Port Authority's work, to sustain a strong, connected, and active boating community. A little information, if anybody wants to grab that, you can get your QR code, you go to our website, just our contact information there. Lots said here, right? Lots said in a very small amount of time, but hopefully this is some good information. Hopefully this helps you realize, again, all of the great work that we continue to do. We are making a lot of improvements, doing a lot of really great things, expanding. Our reach is becoming greater and greater every day. That's ultimately a good thing for everybody in this room. So with that, I would just open it up for any comments or questions.
How'd you come up with South Shore Sailing School?
We didn't overthink it, that's for sure. It was kind of funny because we were trying to figure out a name that would kind of connect us a little bit better, and we kept coming back to the fact that we are on the South Shore. It was interesting because there was actually another South Shore Sailing School, yacht club that's
Right.
actually up in Wisconsin, I believe, if I remember correctly. I don't know that there was a lot of thought put into it, but it was just a name that we thought was reflective of our location and the fact that we draw from this whole area through here. And it's definitely something that gives people a little more clear about what we do. The South Shore Nautical Education Foundation doesn't really say that we teach sailing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that answers your question.
Good. I enjoyed your program. I really did. There's some of us that kind of keep our eyes out what's happening, and not only in just on Marina, but around a little bit around the pavilion. And I've watched things grow over the years. Worked with Tim and Mary Ann just to understand what all the differences are that you guys are doing down there. I tell you, the last couple of years, it's really been interesting to see the growth of the boats and the kids out there. There seem to be a lot more, I won't say professional, because they're not really professionals, but the attitude out there is not just all play. They're really having fun out there, and they're working hard. It really looks good. Even when the weather's bad and they have to stay right here. But all running into each other, it's kind of fun.
Well, we noticed the same exact thing you just described. We notice it in a lot of ways. We've noticed it, our instructors, our own kids. We thought we were making a lot of changes and really changing our culture and our mindset and doing a lot better job with training and getting our skill sets. And we thought that was going to be a lot of overload for them. They welcomed it. They actually liked it. It actually gave them more structure. And actually, they liked the fact that we were investing in more of those things. We hear it from our families. We hear it from our students. And when we're out, able to raise money, able to make these investments, it actually becomes a little bit infectious, actually. And so then we start getting other supporters that kind of come out of the woodwork, more willing to make those donations and support us in a whole lot of other ways, volunteering their time. So, yes, I would agree, and I appreciate the comment because we put a lot of hard work into this. Again, we have 7 people who basically orchestrate this whole thing. We're in the operations every day during the season. The off season, we're probably doing the hardest work that we do.
Sure.
And by the way, we're also out pounding the pavement looking for these donations and these grants. So we're writing grants. We're doing everything we can to support ourselves and make sure we remain viable. So,
I've only heard good things from Tim and Mary Ann about what you've been doing down there as far as any requests or any problems that are first foreseen. So evidently, whatever anything is, the communications back and forth to you, really being taken care of.
well, I appreciate that too because I don't know that we always did the best job with that.
Yeah.
And we tried to be more thoughtful about these folks who are on the front line of these things every day and trying to keep those communication lines open.
How about the hoist you're using out there? How's that? What's going on there?
Well, we always know the hoist is a little bit temperamental, right? And the hoist has posed some challenges over the years. It's actually one of our biggest concerns going forward because some of our boats, a lot of our boats, we can't launch off the wall. Our boats we use in adult classes are 300-pound boats. Unfortunately, we have to hoist those in. And so it's a big concern for us long term. And I know some money's been put into that. I think you guys have done a pretty good job with that. But that's also a voice has been there for how many decades? Was it the old Pan Am Games? Is that when that thing went in? So it's been there for quite a long time. And one of the infrastructure projects I'm hoping we can get to talk with you all about it at some point, you guys especially, is we are looking at some lifts that we would maybe like to put out there that are a little maybe safer, have some things that maybe the current lift doesn't. We're always a little worried, not just about the hoist failing and us not being able to use it, but also the potential safety issue sometimes. And we got kids out there putting boats in the water. So those are things on our mind, but so far so good. It's been temperamental, but I think Tim always does a great job making sure he gets out, and if something goes sideways or breaks, it gets fixed pretty quick. So,
Are you local here?
me personally, I live in Ogden Dunes. All right, so I also work in real estate, so my real estate office is here in Michigan City. I work for Century 21, so I spend oodles of time in Michigan City business-wise and with the sailing school, and some of us suggested I should probably move here, but we'll see about that. But most of our board here are all local. Dale lives here in Michigan City. Lynn's in Chesterton, Shannon's in South Bend, Coop, you're South Bend. So we come from around the area. I mean, we're kind of reflective of the students and families and instructors that we have. We come from a pretty close area.
You talk about you're always looking for assistance on projects, probably cash also. You haven't put the squeeze on us yet. You haven't presented anything along that nature. Is that going to be something you could convey to us in the near future?
Well, I appreciate the question, and I'll just tell you, our mindset is, look, you guys do a lot for us.
I know.
A lot. And we appreciate that very much, and that's why we've been very thoughtful about trying to get more dollars, because we don't always want to be relying on the Port Authority and our immediate supporters. To answer the question, I think where we potentially might be looking for some assistance, I don't know that's going to be a costly endeavor, would be when it comes time to talk about the lifts that we might want to put in. If you guys approve that plan, there's probably going to be a little infrastructure work, I'm assuming, with power and things like that. Some things that we'll probably need a little bit of help with. But by and large, we're trying not to overextend ourselves with what you guys help us with today, and we're going to continue to stick by that. So if we ask, it's not because we haven't exhausted other possibilities.
I understood.
Yeah, I also enjoyed your presentation and learned more about the school that you put on too. And I do a lot of fishing out of Michigan City here, especially in the middle of June, July, and August, in and out of the harbor. And a lot of the clients that I have or friends that are going along will see these sailboats and all the kids on them. And they always ask the question, what's going on?
Yeah.
Who puts that on? Who runs it? And now I feel I have a little more to tell them other than it's just a sailing school.
Good. You can tell them that, and you can tell them all the great things that we're continuing to do. I mean, our vision from day one has really been about how, one, we can make our program better, but two, how can we serve the local community better, right? We're very fortunate that we have the client base that we have, but again, how do we get more integrated here locally in Michigan City? And I think that the initiatives we talked about here with Michigan City Schools and Sea Scouts, I think really underscores that, because those aren't easy things for us to do, right? It's just because it's important to us.
Do you have brochures that you leave in areas or?
We can. Would you like some? I'll get your name afterwards.
Yeah, even just in the buildings or in the fish cleaning station where people are.
We could probably leave some things here if you could allow us to. Maybe people could pick up if they want. Or yeah, it's kind of hard for us because we, right now and during the summer we're under the pavilion, so there's not a really good centralized place to leave our marketing collateral. But we do have stuff like that. Other questions? All right. Well,
I think another thing that was really important that came out of the Michigan City partnership that we had is we've got 2 fabulous kids that have moved up into instructor positions. So we're really focusing on getting those kids up, and they've done a phenomenal job.
what's really cool is seeing what our kids do after they leave our program. You know, talk about those leadership skills. You know, we got kids that are going on to college, they're becoming leaders in college organizations, they're getting into collegiate racing. We also have kids in the last couple of years, we've had a couple that have actually went into the Coast Guard right away out of high school.
Yeah.
Right, so they're getting involved there. And it just manifests in so many different ways. So if that's it, I just want to say again, thank you. You all are a very, very integral, key supporter of ours, and we really do appreciate that a lot. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
All right, reports from the harbor master, Mr. Frank.
All right, well, I just have two quick things this evening. We continue preparing the marina for winter. So that involves removing ladders, removing extensions. We've already got the water turned off. Anything that looks like it could be damaged by ice or strong winds. So we're working on that. And we're also finishing up our setup for the Christmas lights. Those will get turned on December 6th. We've pretty much got all the little stuff done. We have a couple big things we want to put up yet. So that's what we're doing. So unless anybody has any questions, I'll leave it at that.
Bubblers in the water?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Gotta figure out which boats are still be there so we can put them on.
Yeah, they're staged. We just haven't put them in the water yet.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right, reports from the assistant harbor master, administration, Ms. Sparky.
Just the regular office work and that we're taking in our deposits for next season.
Anything from Mr. Sparky, anybody? No? All right. Mr. Ferguson, budget financial oversight, review and approval of the bills to be paid.
Okay, got a few things. I'll try to keep it brief. Got obviously the bills to be paid. And while we'll quickly look ahead, then we have a budget that we'll briefly talk about, and also our salary order for next year. Now, Mary Ann sent out the budget, and she put it in an email, sent it out last Friday afternoon. I have extra copies for anybody who needs it.
Let me see. Here, first. Thank you.
Sam, can I have them?
Sure.
Thank you.
You want one?
If not, yeah.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's go ahead and talk the bills. We'll talk about the bottom line on the front page, bottom left, which talks about $20,434.08. You can see where it comes from on top. Very minor stuff. And they caught in all the rest of stuff, really kind of minor. It's nothing even close to what we normally have in the rest of the year. So I don't even see anything where you're spending much time on. So they're there for your edification. And with that, I will make a motion. We accept the bills total as paid, as shown of $20,434.08.
I'll second his motion to accept the payment register.
Any questions, comments?
This furnace maintenance, is that for this building here?
No, maintenance. The furnace was in maintenance.
Or
Yeah,
maintenance?
we had a furnace in there that still used a pilot light. And so it would occasionally get blown out. So now it has electronic ignition.
Oh, that's good, okay. It's my
So
question.
it's an actual furnace, it's a new furnace?
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
The pilot one wasn't efficient at all,
No,
no, was it?
probably 20,
Yeah,
maybe more.
yeah, that was just putting dollars off the backside.
Mhm.
All right, all in favor of paying the bills?
Aye. Okay, I won't belabor the point on the history of putting the budget together this year. But y'all know that all the computers were down for seems like a month, so it's taken a while to put everything together. So we know that we are looking at the front page just briefly. We can see that the columns are this year's budget, this year's plan, actual so far year to date, and then what we're planned for our budget for next year. So you can see the difference between plan to plan this year, last year is about $190,000. So that's on the revenue side. And we break that down on that last column on the right. Mary Ann has put that together for everybody's edification. So you can see those points in there where it is. And that's just the normal function of what she does and I review, and we put our heads together. Looking at the rest of these pages, we just account for all these changes to come up with the bottom line. And I think some of the, we have built in on the first page, we built in a 4% across the board wage for everyone. So that's on page 1, salary and wages. You can see that's running at, that would cost the neighborhood of $23,000. All the rest of those are coming down. You kind of see where they are and reasons why, probably. If you look at it, second page, here's a major difference. You can see we're total sales of fuel. We really like to have a lot of fuel, of course, but B&E sells fuel also. But they're not going to, from what we understand, they're not going to be selling diesel anymore or very soon. And so we are for us, we're going to increase our diesel budgets, and it takes some at the expense of some of the gasoline because of where we were going this year with gasoline. So you just come on down some of those others. Insurance liability towards the bottom, we expect that to climb, to be more competitive, to be more realistic to where we are in actuality. We've added more to the electrics. Quite frankly, not as much as we were talking about earlier in the year. Hopefully it'll be right in. We'll see what happens. We all know about the NIPSCO charges. Second page, just various things, plus remind us as we go through. And really, that's about it. Look for an additional $75,000 for capital improvements. It gets us back to the same total of $3,292,000 and $3,292,092 and $192. Okay, so that's where we are. The budget is due to be approved by today. We tried to do it a couple weeks ago. We weren't able to get it to you. So I'm asking you to accept this as written. And if things need to be modified or changed by what you've seen, we'll work to do that. But this is what we got as I speak. So I'll make a motion this time. I make two motions. One that whether we accept a 4% increase in salary for across the board, and that we accept this budget, which includes the salary increase of $3,292,192. Anyone? Anyone with a second?
What? Is there comments to be made, or?
No, usually it's approve it, then comments, so.
I'll second.
You second?
So there were two separate motions or the two separate seconds?
So we'd be looking for 2 seconds, one for pay and one for budget.
I'll second the motion for the pay increase.
Any comments? Discussion there? Anybody? Yeah. All in favor for the pay increase?
Aye?
Aye. For a roll call, that should we?
Yeah, you roll call.
I think so.
Bruce Banner,
Aye.
Dan Messina,
Aye.
John Haynes,
Aye.
Chris Cyphers,
Aye.
Sam Ferguson,
Aye.
and Kim is absent, and
Aye. All right. Then as far as the budget, we have a second for the budget.
I'll second that budget.
Any comments about the budget?
Maybe just a question. It looks like diesel sales are up go up each year. Does it look like we have more diesel fuel being sold? More?
I would say, yeah, both based on boats showing up.
Yeah.
Seem to pull a lot of people from New Buffalo for diesel,
Oh,
for whatever reason.
okay.
So I don't know if there's a tax rate difference between here and there.
Something.
Something to, and then I see ice sales are down quite a bit too. Is
such
there a
a,
reason for that?
such a late start with the cold weather.
It was cool. The heat didn't come till July. All you gotta do is start gauging when you get anything over 80 degrees and then your ice sales go up.
That's all.
And the offset, what you're forecasting is the offset for the heat.
This would be this is the new budget,
Right,
and it shows that the difference
right,
from last year.
yes. I'm just talking about, because we're looking at offsetting the credit card fee, not
Yes,
absorbing it,
yes,
so that's part of it.
yes, that's,
That just gets it back to even, but that's a good even.
yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
We actually lost money on the resale ice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a good year for the ice.
Was that due to repairs of the machine as well?
No,
Partly,
that should be a different line item.
right.
Mhm.
But that might be partly why sales are down. So.
Any other questions on the budget? Any other comments?
Well, I don't like the fact that we lost money on the gasoline too.
Well, that's, hopefully we're not doing that next year.
Yeah, we did pass something to try
Yeah, well, I'll set
to
that.
try to offset that. That's true. That's true, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Alright. All in favor? Passing the budget?
Aye. Yeah, that's right.
Bruce Banner,
Aye.
Dan Messina,
Aye.
John Haynes,
Aye.
Chris Cyphers,
Aye.
Sam Ferguson,
Aye.
Socrates,
We're all in favor of budget. Anything else, Mr. Ferguson?
No.
Before you go into hibernation for the year?
Pardon me?
Before you hibernate until next year?
So that's good for their meeting.
And does anybody else have anything for Mr. Ferguson before we move on? Moving on, Mr. Haynes, claims and insurance, looks like next week, our next month meeting.
Yes. I'm gonna try to go bigger next meeting to go over the insurance, the new insurance quotas. That's it.
Did he give you any idea to pass around to us so we could look at it ahead of time?
No, he said he wasn't completed with it yet.
That's tough. Everybody's behind us here, I guess.
Do we have any major claims, any claims at all?
There's a few, nothing major.
I'd certainly like to see a copy of it before we vote on it. I mean,
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get him to send something ahead of time,
Yeah,
because I'm sure he'll have it before that day.
yeah, okay, so, yeah, I'll reach out to him too. Let's get a packet out to everybody so we can review it ahead of time and he can do his presentation, so we're all on the same page.
Okay,
That'd be a good idea.
yes.
Especially unless we're gonna have another meeting in December, because.
Okay, thank you.
All right, port operations, well, I mean, it's cold out, so there's not much cooking with anything other than the normal operations, so that's a good thing. Mr. Messina, Porter Communication Specialists.
I have nothing, of course, this year we did not have our monthly meeting with the voters. And I did not get questioned, I don't know if Mr. Frame did or not, it seemed to be like something that's gone by the wayside and accepted that way.
Well, it helps that we didn't have any incidents out on the docks of people jumping the fence or stealing booze or food or other than boater on boater crime, which is a real thing, believe it or not.
So I have no other communication.
Alrighty, that's good then. All right, Mr. Manner. Master Planning and Special Projects.
I'm hoping we can, next year, take a really close look at some of the master planning that we have to take care of. But financially, right now, we're not able to do that, so I'm hoping we can get to the
Getting
point.
closer.
Yeah, we're getting closer. I'm hoping we can get to the point next year that we can address some of that stuff.
Be great.
And I was at the park board meeting, but there was nothing really there that we had to contend with, or no information that I need to pass on to you from the park board.
Great. Mr. Cypress, Advertising Public Relations.
Nothing to report.
And then the attorney report, Mr. Zachman.
I had an opportunity to speak to the harbor master over at the Portage Marina, Barb Lusko, and she couldn't speak highly enough about the US, or paygov.us, the credit card service fee outfit that I introduced through Mr. Frame at last month's meeting, or last week's meeting, 2 weeks ago rather, last meeting. She said they've had them for about 2 years. They haven't had any problems. She said it's very easy to use, very easy to implement. The reports are very user-friendly. She said there are a number of different fields you can request be populated. So for example, if it's slip rental, if it's winter storage, summer storage, maintenance, all different things, so that you could break down more accurately all the different items that we take in and for what purpose. She's had no problems at all. She called it a godsend. So that's pretty ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
She talked about Michael Hyatt, and I spent about 15 or 20 minutes on the phone with him. She said he's easy to deal with, highly intelligent, knowledgeable, is always on the spot with them. So, and that was my experience with him as well. Very knowledgeable, very eager to sell the program, but not in a salesman type of way, but to talk about its effectiveness, its efficiency, and its value to its customers. So I don't know that if the board wants me to do any more due diligence, I'm happy to do so. But again, ringing endorsement from the Portage Marina, and they've used them for about 2 years.
Do we have any idea exactly what we're going to, like he said, he broke it down into categories. Are we gonna, if we hire these people, are we going to have certain categories that are exempt from that? I hope not.
The only thing is, gas is a separate thing, everything
Just the
else.
gas, I know the gas.
But everything else would be subject to.
Everything else would be subject to.
Right, it's just that what you could do is you could account for the income. So this is slip rental fee came in, winter storage fee came in, summer storage fee came in.
So you're,
A variety of different kinds of maintenance. You can tailor it to generate the kind of reports that you want.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, so yeah, we just have credits, not debits coming off the charge. That's the main thing.
And I think we probably need a meeting with him and with our computer programmer
Yeah,
to make sure that it just doesn't come in as bulk, that if we know who paid each amount, that maybe Mr. Messina paid $200 down, maybe John paid $400, Mr. Ferguson $800. It can't just be a block
Right, yeah.
with a
Be line
total.
item.
You made a line item, right,
And who made that payment?
right.
Yeah,
The amount.
they come out like that.
Yeah.
Credit card machines did.
If you'd like, I could get in touch with Mr. Hyatt and you tell me when's a convenient time for staff to meet with him, and you can go over any of the issues with him. I can attend if you want me to.
Yeah, and I should get a hold of when our IT person can come,
Okay.
does our programming.
We have to do that for the first of the year, right? No, we can do it anytime,
You
actually.
can do it in.
Yeah, we can do it after the first of the year, yeah. We can initiate that at any
I just know POS systems today are just a godsend to a lot of places, so.
Well, we don't really want to wait too long because
Yeah, we don't want, we don't want
slip
to.
payments will be coming in.
That's true.
Yep, yeah, so,
So what date is that?
It's,
Well, they've already started.
Well, those are deposits can be different from.
January.
Oh, yeah,
so yeah, sooner the better,
yeah,
I think
but
it's,
not overwhelming anybody at the same time.
right.
Joe had mentioned the last meeting, as long as we do our part of getting the communications out to everybody, that this is being initiated over a little bit of time, as long as everybody knows that. But we know it's not, everything's gonna happen on January 1st, it's just.
Well, I think I'll have to go back over my notes, but I think we have to give at least 30 days notice.
Sure,
So, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's
try to do that sooner than
Yeah.
I'd like to send a notice out before just about December 1st. Even though if we don't start on the 1st of January, we get notice on December 1st, so somewhere in January, we can turn it on. So there's no surprise. I think that's due diligence is having that out.
Okay.
I'm not sure where this Mr. Hyatt's from, but it may be worth him coming and talk to us as a board.
Mhm.
So we all hear the same thing and we don't have rumors out there started, if we all could hear the
We'll
same
just
thing,
keep you
along
off the
with the
dock,
staff.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, just
I'm sorry.
leave it
Keep
in
you
there.
off the dock, it'll be fine.
A few people, you don't need the whole, I don't think you need the whole board here.
Is he local?
No,
He's in Indianapolis.
Oh,
So he'd be at our next meeting?
You guys decide that.
I could ask him.
December 8th?
Well, don't we have the insurance presentation then? We've got the election.
Yeah.
We got the insurance people here
If
also.
you want me to invite him, or
Well, if he comes, find out when
perhaps he could appear by Zoom or something?
Zoom or, yeah.
That's,
My main concern is these guys being comfortable with everything in the program.
Right.
Sure.
First, and then, you know what, because everything else comes along, because when the contracts come, that's when you're involved.
Right.
So, with somebody's already been practicing, it's in the state of Indiana, my main concern is not getting a vendor that's not part of the state of Indiana, and he's a state of Indiana vendor, so that gives a little bit more credence, confidence into what you're brought to the table.
Yeah. And especially with the endorsement from Portage.
Exactly.
So I can see when he's available to meet with staff first.
Yeah.
Would you be amenable to a Zoom?
Mhm.
If it's a lot of trouble for him to get up here,
yeah, that's fine.
okay.
He'll probably show up, it's a sizable count.
Oh, yeah, I think so. And that's all I had.
And so, yeah. Anybody else have anything else?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Would it be possible to be, no?